Welcome back to the shop. So I got the 97 F250 back up on deck here. It's all ready to go. I'm just going to do a quick tune-up before we put it on the road here. So I got plugs. I got a set of Ford racing wires. I've been sitting on the bench here for several years. I also picked up an Accel coil. It's got the original coil on it. Just going to swap that out for preventative. Got a cap and rotor inside there. Napa Gold air filter, Napa Gold fuel filter, and also cabin air filter, which I don't think I've ever changed on this truck. When I bought it, I went through and did everything, but I don't ever remember doing the cabin air filter, so I'm gonna pop that out and see what that looks like. For plugs, we're just gonna use a good old Autolite copper core. I think it's got the Motorcraft Platinums in it right now, but I haven't been thrilled with those. Everybody says using Motorcraft or Autolite copper cores. These old 460 seem to like them a little better, so we'll give them a shot anyways. If not, I'll swap back to the Motorcraft. All right, so I got the plugs swapped out. Nothing too spectacular there. They are pretty dirty. This truck hasn't been on the road in a couple of years, so it's just been fired up and moved around the property here. And the one plug, number 3 there, was kind of a bit of gunk in there, but it doesn't look terrible. If you don't have these gappers, highly recommend these wire type. And they've got the little tang on the end there so you can adjust your electrode instead of trying to bend it by hand. So I'm going to go ahead now and throw this coil in. And this is a direct replacement for the factory coil. So it should mount in the factory location, factory harness. So we'll go chuck this in there. All right, so the coil sits right in here. To get it out, it's a little tricky. What I found was take the 2 nuts off that hold the actual coil bracket in place. And this one here sits over top of it. So what I did was just loosen the one that's in the back there. Let's see behind those vacuum lines there. Just loosen that right to the top. Just allows you to lift this bracket up enough there to slip it out. And then make sure you reconnect this back onto that post and put it back in. And undo your connectors, just your standard click connector. Just stick a small screwdriver there and pop it out. So let's go swap the coil over. There we go, ready to go back in. All right, so just got the wires laid loosely in there now because we got to swap the cap. These wires are a bit long, so I'll get some ties and tie everything up neatly, but I open this up. He is crusty. Ew. Well, that looks a little better. One issue I ran into here is the factory wire separators that run here are too small for these bigger wires, so I may order the Ford racing ones, but for now I just got some zip ties holding stuff somewhat neatly, but I don't really love that, so we'll look into that. But other than that, everything is done. Let's fire it up and see if she runs any better. So that seems pretty good there. It's got some pretty old fuel on it, so I'll go and throw some insurance on tomorrow, take her for a good run and see how she does. But definitely throttle's a little snappier as well. Good tune up, never hurts anyways. Also gave her a quick oil change with a new Motorcraft FL1A, and we trying out some of this Lucas Hot Rod and Classic in this one here. So we'll see how that goes. So I went to go install the cabin air filter here and couldn't find an obvious spot where it belongs. I only ended up with this because I typically order my parts online through Napa. They've got a great system there. If you haven't used it, check it out. And when I searched for the air filter for the engine, it popped up and recommended this as well, cabin air filter. And like I mentioned earlier, don't ever remember doing it on this truck, and the reason I've never done it is because they don't have one. But for whatever reason, Napa lists this, but this seems to be a glitch in the system. So don't let them sell you one because you don't need it. Real men filter their cabin air through a cigarette anyway, so don't need it. I also got the fuel filter changed out. And come to think of it, I only changed this out when I bought this truck, and that's going on, I think 7-8 years now. I'll have to look and see. So a bit curious, wonder how bad it actually is in there. Don't have a ton of miles on this truck, but you should take a peek inside. Hang on, better go get my earplugs. Maybe put my seatbelt on too. You know, a wise man once said, don't do what Donnie don't do. Think about that. And seriously though, don't use an angle grinder. So there we have it. Looks like there is some crust. That could just be from the filter getting cut, but actually doesn't look too bad. It's dark, except for there, where it's glued together. But little bits of junk in there, but nothing too crazy. So that had about 40,000 kilometers on it, which for those of you south of the border, that's 25,000 miles. So it's due to be done anyways. Should be good for another 8 to 10 years. Especially with the cost of fuel right now, I don't think I'll be driving this truck too terribly much. Cheap preventative maintenance. Also went ahead and buffed out the headlights. These ones here were pretty yellow and hazed up. I did them years ago when I bought the truck, but they were due to be done again. Also gave her a wash and a wax. She hasn't been this clean in a few years, but I'm gonna go ahead and put her away because it's starting to rain. And there's probably thousands of videos out there on buffing headlights, but what I use is just, I got this from the Meguiar's kit I bought years ago when I was doing a bit of detailing on the side. This thing's held up really well, so buy that kit. This will last you. I think I used up all the polish that was in there, so what I typically use now is just some 205. This stuff's worked pretty well. The headlight polish that you get there is just typically repackaged product at a higher price. You probably pay the same amount for that little bottle as you do for a big one of these. What I do to prep it is just sand with some 3M. I go down to 2,000. Once you've got it sanded down to 2,000, go ahead and buff it out with this. I like to start slow, really work it in there. Gradually increase your speed and then just do a final pass, high speed, light pressure, and it buffs it out real nice. And then I did get some of this years ago. I don't really know if this stuff does anything. It's supposed to protect them, because once you wet sand to remove your clear coat that was on there, which is what yellows up, there's no protection at all. So some guys will re-clear coat, but I've been using this stuff and it does seem to at least delay the hazing and yellowing. So you pretty much just spray it on and wipe it off. So anyways, I think that's all for today. I just wanted to get this truck, I know it was kind of done in the last video, but it was mechanically done. I just wanted to do a bit of preventative maintenance and a quick tune-up and freshen up, and she's ready for the road. So I'm gonna grab some insurance this week. I was gonna go pick it up yesterday, but weather's changed on us. It's pouring down rain, and now that I've got her all cleaned up, I really don't want to be driving around in the rain. So we'll do a little short video maybe next week here, and we'll take her for a burn, see how she runs. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.